Okay, good morning and welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series. How are you doing this morning? It's one of those mornings that we are having network setbacks, and it is my hope and dream that we are able to go through today without network glitches. So that is my hope and my dream. All right. So in the meantime, if you're here, I say welcome to a beautiful new week. Welcome to a new day. And yes, it is the first day of the week, and it's the first day of the program. We do this every day from Monday through Friday. Okay, so it's our weekly show where we come and talk about parenting, and we share nuggets and strategies that parents can apply in their parenting if they want to be more effective, and they want to learn how to support their children more effectively, and of course be better parents. Yeah, so if you are on the show right now, you are in the right place, because today we are going to be answering another question that a parent has asked, or many parents have asked us over the years, and that is, how can I support my preteen to focus on their goals? All right, parents always ask, why is it that after they set goals, they don't take them seriously? Why is it that my children do not even understand what to do with their goals after they've set them? And how can I help them begin to take their goals seriously? Now, we are going to be talking about that in today's session. So if you are here right now, you can see me, you can hear me clearly. I need that feedback if you can, because as I said, the network we are using today is not very strong, and we've been having some glitches in the last few hours. So we need to be sure that this is good, and this is serving you, and that you can hear me clearly and you can see me clearly right now. Yes, if you are here and you have a friend, you have a brother, sister, you have a loved one who can benefit from this session, you have someone who has young children and preteens, I promise you they will benefit from this program and all of the programs that we do in this channel or in this community. So I want you to invite them right now to be a part of what we do here. If you're on Facebook, why don't you go ahead and tag them to join us on this stream? If you are on YouTube, go ahead and send them a YouTube link. And yes, if you are on Instagram, why don't you go ahead and follow us, and then get that notification on, so that every time we come live, you get to be a part of the show. This show is usually for between 20 and 30 minutes, and we're going to try to keep it at that today, because we want you to, we want you to be here and then get back to the things that you have to do this morning, because we know that it's Monday. Oh, it's a public holiday in Nigeria. I don't know where else it is, but hey, yes, the show is supposed to be a short show, and basically, we want to get in here and then leave you with something strong that you can think about. You can take, the strategies and the nuggets that we've shared and apply in your parenting straight up. But we always love to add that it's not enough that you get these nuggets here and there, okay? And it's not enough that you are on a journey alone as a parent. As a parent, the first way to support your child is to understand that your child is also on their own journey. Now, understanding that means that you will create opportunity for your child to embark on that journey effectively. And one way to do this is to get them into systems that will offer them accountability, get them into systems that will offer them mentorship, get them into systems that will offer them peer mentorship and support. When our children are in such systems, you realize that they begin to grow in their personal development, they grow in their self awareness, they begin to take initiative right in their lives, and they learn to navigate their life on their own. Simply put, your child begins to understand the role that he or she plays in their own lives. And yes, parents, it is something you want to get them to start doing as early as possible. It is a place you want to get your child in as early as possible. And that is why we run a robust program, a very, very, very effective and robust program for young children and preteens. We call it the Mastermind Circle. It's where we offer children mentorship, we offer them accountability, we guide them to learn how to take the front stage in their own lives. We become their co-pilots in partnership with you. But then again, the children understand that they are the captains of their own lives. All right. If I have not introduced myself, my name is Maribel Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources, where we create resources and we create solutions to support parents on their parenting journey. I'm also the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, that peer mentorship program that I have been talking about for your 6-year-old kids through 13. So your children between 6 and 14 can join us in the Mastermind Circle, where we lead, direct, support, give them mentorship, and offer them accountability and help them create a robust community and a safe community where they grow with like minds and they grow with children who have like visions, and working their journey, in purpose, and all of that. So yes, it's a place that your child needs to be. So yes, let's get to the crux of today's matter. And we are looking at, why does my child not take their goals seriously? Why does my child not put themselves or apply themselves, when they set goals? Now, why is my child not even setting goals at all? Or why is goal setting not a thing in our home already? Now, these are the issues, these are the questions, and these are the ones we are going to be answering today. All right. So, yes, there's some families that are still in that place where you don't even know that children should start setting goals. And for you, I want to say, please, if your children do not set goals, it's a principle that you want to introduce into your family dynamics. So, meaning, if you have children who are old enough to initiate, if they're old enough to see a task through from the beginning to the end, then they're ready to start setting goals, right? And sometimes when we talk about these things, they begin to sound like they are that technical. Sorry. Oh no. All right, so sometimes when we talk about these things, they sound like they are technical, but really they are not technical. They're not that, they're not that serious. It's not technical at all. If your 3-year-old embarks on, let's say your 3-year-old is trying to make the hair of her doll, right? And then she goes there and then she begins to practice what she's probably seen you or some other person, do at some point or the other. What your 3-year-old is doing is, your 3-year-old has a goal at that time. So at the time that the 3-year-old takes that doll and begins to try to, break the hair of the doll, that's a goal that she has there. And most times what you see is she stays on there and tries, now if your 3-year-old is able to stay in there and do it to the end, that is execution going on. But what we see is that she picks the doll and she starts, and then she dumps it, and then she goes to take something else, and all of that. So what we're saying is, if your 3-year-old can already have, a goal in mind, which is to make the doll's hair, takes it and begins to, executes or begins to do something about it, that child is already in that space where the child, can initiate a task. Now, it is your job now as a parent to come in here and support the child, or to come in here and gradually help the child understand this principle. Now, your child may not be ready at 3, but if you're paying attention, you will know when your child is ready. Your child is in that space where they can initiate a task, and so you can begin to help them to learn how to focus, to learn how to to keep their attention on that thing. You can prompt them, to go back to that thing even after they leave it, and all of that. So yes, our children, no matter how young they are, right, our children, at least when they are toddlers, can actually be put in that space or be guided in that space to begin to set goals and achieve the goals. All right, so now we're even talking about your young children and your preteen. So we're talking about your 6, your 7, your 10, 12, and 13-year-olds basically. And of course, you would agree with me that these ones are old enough to actually start something and finish it. But the challenge is, our children are not learning. So the challenge is that our children, I mean, we're not intentional about our children learning to start and finish. And it is a very critical skill that children need to learn. In fact, it is an executive functioning skill, one of those skills that will help children learn how to navigate the world on their own. So the earlier you start getting the children into that space where they now know how to start, okay, and then after starting is not even usually the issue many times. It's the staying power, the resilience, and all that discipline and all that is required for the child to see that task through to the end. Okay, and that's where we come in, and that's where the place of goal setting as a principle comes in. If you want to help your children understand, okay, or you want a vehicle through which you can help your children build this skill. I usually would say that things do not happen in a vacuum. All right, parenting, and all of the skills that you want. Sorry for this. Um, sorry, just give me a second. Sorry. All right, then. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. A bit of distraction in the background. All right, so let's get to it. All right, so yes, so if you can get our children to that space, right, where we can help them start learning intentionality. Yes, I was saying that in parenting, all right, one of the reasons why many of us fail is that we do not parent, or we do not do the things that we need to do or help our children with. We don't create, we don't create a vehicle, or we don't create a space to do these things. We don't create some sort of a structure, okay, or a system through which we run whatever we want our children to learn through. We want to do this in vacuums, and parenting is difficult, or anything at all is difficult when it's done in a vacuum. All right, but when you case it, or you put it in a system, then there is the step by step approach to it that will help you achieve the outcome that you're looking for. And now, when you're able to put it in that system, it means that there is the possibility of repetition. There is the possibility of going back and going back and using that process over and over again. There is the possibility of staying in there and measuring, or being able to monitor that process. But when we do it in a vacuum, there is no process to measure. There is no back, and so you are trying. It's all trial and sorry about this. All right, so the next time you can't even remember what you did the last time, and so you don't know how to go back. And sometimes, even when you get it right with one child, or you get it right the first time, it's difficult to go back, and use that process again, right, to support another child or other people, because it's not documented. It was done in a vacuum. There was no system in place, and yes, so it becomes a struggle. And this is part of the challenge that we have in this part of the world. Okay, and that's why we're not able to repeat our success stories. We're not able to go back to the success stories that we have and repeat the process, so that we can create more prodigies and all that. So that's why you see people, we have one-off successes. All right, one person just comes up, the person springs up, the person is successful. Now the person is unable to mentor other people or create prodigies after himself, because there are no documentation. The process is not documented. Everything is winged, everything is chance. Nothing is done in a system, nothing is documented. There is no process, to the system. So as a parent, we are going to raise children, right? We're going to raise children the way we want to raise children, and we're going to get the results that we hope that we want, and the results that we want to see. Okay, and we're going to meet the goals and the visions that we have dreamt or we have seen. Then we have to, put it in through a process, basically create a curriculum for it. So they say, if you want to change something, all right, you want to change something, pass it through a curriculum. All right, so that's what we are looking at today. All right, so yes, these are the things. So I'm going to share with you a few reasons, right, apart from what I have just talked about, why your child is probably struggling with setting goals, and all of that. Now you already know why you need to set goals. You need to set goals because we need to help our children get to that point where our children understand the place of goal setting, and that they set it, because yes, what you're doing is you are teaching them to dream. You are teaching them that you can think of things, you can dream of something, and you can achieve it. Because if we are not teaching our children to think or to dream and to create visions, then basically we are teaching our children a life without faith. Right? There is no faith, right? You just wing everything, you just go one day at a time, wing everything, no plans, and all of that. And we know how that pans out, especially if you are from Africa, you're from this part of the world where we have governments and we have all kinds of systems that, a lot of times there are no long-term plans, there are no concrete plans. You can tell that there are no long-term plans. You can tell that there are no concrete plans, because a lot of the times it seems like, we're just going and things get wrong, and people don't know what to do when things get wrong, because there's no drawing board to go back on. There was no plan there was no plan from the beginning, and so because this is what we've been taught, even in our homes, in a lot of our systems, there are no plans. Okay, and that's why we have struggled and we have failed over and over and over again. And even with the failures that are supposed to, help us learn and become better, we are not. And so it continues to be a struggle. But when you go to other systems where some of us have had the opportunity to get to, what we have seen in those systems is that because they have created, they have goals, they have visions, and they have created plans to achieve those goals and visions. So basically, even when they are failing or it is slow, they still have a sense of direction, and they have where they are going to, because the vision has been made clear and the vision is there, and everybody is working towards that goal or towards that vision. So we need to break these things down and help our children see it also. I said that to the children in the mastermind circle, our peer mentorship and accountability group. I said to them, if you take your bag and you head to the airport, and let's say that you don't even have to do a lot of all of those checks you do in the airport and all of that, or even if you do that, and then they call a flight, and for some reason you're able to break security or something, let's say you have access to just walk in, and you walk in and get into a plane that you don't even know where the plane is going to, all right, or you walk in and you don't even have a destination. What will happen is that you will keep hovering and hovering around. You will not get to your destination because you don't have one, or you may just end up in a different place altogether because you didn't get into the vehicle that will take you to your destination. You didn't get into the aircraft that will take you to your destination. All right, it's like playing a football game and there's no goalpost. At the end of the match, you won't score goals because basically there wasn't a goalpost. All right, so we give the children this kind of examples just to bring it home so that they can begin to understand why they need to set goals and why those goals are very important. All right. So, yes, now for some of us, we've even reached the point. So, that's for you who isn't setting goals at all. Please let your children begin to set goals in your home, no matter how small. If you are in the mastermind, all right, if you've ever been in the mastermind, you know that the first thing that we do, all right, or if you know someone in the mastermind, for parents who are mastermind parents, the first thing what we do when the children come in is set goals. All right, now every year the mastermind gets better, of course, because we also have our goals and we are working towards those goals. And so every day the system is getting better because every day is a learning point, and the last year is a learning point, and then the next year we build on our learning points and all of the things that are feedback from the previous cohorts. So that's what goal setting does for you, because you know where you're going to. You're able to build on your journey and become better because you have a destination and you know where you are going to. But if you don't, then there's nothing to go back to, as I said. Do you understand? So that's it. So because of that, so now this year, we're not just setting goals, we're setting goals. We're taking a whole 2 weeks. That's what we're using to set goals, to tell you how important and how serious this is. All right. So for those who are already setting goals, one of the reasons your children are not achieving your goals is because your goal setting has become a mere exercise. It is not a system. It is not a journey. You have made goal setting a mere exercise. So you just say, oh, we're going to set goals today. They bring their jotters and all of that. They set goals, they do everything, and in 1 hour they're done setting goals. Okay, let's create vision board, create, you put, and all of that. Now when you do this, it becomes just another exercise, a mere exercise, right? Because the children have not been taken through a process to understand why they are setting goals. All right, so your children need to understand what goal setting is about. So you want to explain that and bring it to their level. Two, they want to understand that why they have to set goals. All right, so you want to make them understand why they have to set goals. Right, I've given you some reasons why we set goals. We set goals so that we can go back to the drawing board. We set goals, right, so that we can achieve the things that we can see. We set goals so that our system can get better, because every time we have those goals, right, and we don't hit them, what it means is that we go back to the drawing board. And because there is a process already, we're able to work on what we have already on ground. All right, so all of these things, the children need to understand, right? If you make them understand why they are setting goals, you understand what the goal setting is about, and then, of course, what it is that they are meant to achieve with those goals. Now, the children understand. Now, you now start a process. You start a process where it's not just a one day boom and all of that. So the process is, the first day you could be doing one thing, which is, let's think about it. Let it be a mental or psychological exercise. That's what we did with the children in the mastermind. We went through a whole orientation. We talked about these things, they had to understand it first, and all of that. And then after that, we moved on to setting little goals, one at a time, right? We have goals in many areas, but we didn't jump in there. Okay, set how many goals there, set here, set here. No, we jumped in and we started one whole day. All you need to do is set just a few goals. Think about it, have a conversation with your parents and all of that, and then think about it. So when goal setting becomes a process, a process that is packed with understanding, a process that is packed, without the children feeling labored or feeling like it's a chore, then it begins to make sense to the child when it becomes a gradual process. As I said, the whole first week, we used it to just drop our goals, and all of that. Now, the entire second week, right, we are using to create plans around those goals, or creating plans around those goals. So by the time the children come, right, to the end of the month, by the time they've been there for an entire month, that's when they get to the point where they can actually, begin to see. Right? So we will come to that. All right? That's when they begin to see. So, yes, we want to make it like that. Number two, there has to be principles. They need to understand the principles behind what they are doing. Now, that is another reason why your children just set goals for goals' sake. Goal setting is becoming a thing. Oh, okay, it's the beginning of the year, New Year resolution. Let's set goals. It's the beginning of the year, it's the school year. Okay, let's set goals for the school year. Even schools, are beginning to say, oh, set goals, and all of that. But if the children do not understand the principles behind goal setting and other principles that follows goal setting, then the children do not take these things seriously, because they do not understand the extent of it. All right, so there is a principle that says, right, now, when you are born, so these are all principles, right? There's a principle, okay, I think it was Pastor Wisdom Osiri that said, when you are born, you look like your parents, right? At the point where we die, we look like the decisions that we have made. Now, when children begin to understand principles like this, okay, whatever it is that I know right now, it's because, or as I like that I know as a little child, is because of what it is that my parents are, what I've learned from them. But as I grow older, I need to start setting goals. I need to create visions for myself. I need to see, right, what is possible. I need to see what I'm capable of. I need to see that. And when I do, all right, then I set goals around this. All right. Now, when the children begin to understand this kind of principles, now you begin to enrich their minds. You're enriching their minds. You're enriching their psychology, and all of that. And this becomes more. For instance, in the mastermind, we say to the children, part of our philosophy is that we are not too young to dream. We are not too young to dream. And so if we can dream it, we can set goals around it. And if we can set goals around it, then we can achieve it. So the child already knows that I can dream. And so if I can dream, right, goal setting is how I break my dreams down to smaller bits. And then setting or creating plans around it is how I move from just wishing to achieving. Now, when children understand this, you are sharing principles with them. Okay. Now, when you share principles, like only you as a human being has the capacity to transform yourself. Now, when your children know that I have the capacity to transform myself as a human being, what does it mean? It means that if there is a picture of, there's a vision that I have seen of the kind of adult that I want to be, and my life right now does not look like the life of that adult, or the life of my parents right now doesn't look like the life of what I want to be. Now, the child understands that there is a principle that says that you have the power to transform yourself. Now, what have you done? You have enriched that child and you have given that child power by making the child know and see that transformation is possible, and that transformation begins from them. All right. Now, there are stories of Jews, right? The Jews are supposed to be some of the richest or wealthiest people. All right. But do we know that most of these Jewish people came from nothing? In fact, most of them are victims, right, of the Holocaust. And yet, after all of that, they came from nothing. From nothing, from all of those camps, got into America and got into other countries in Europe and all of that. And they started from the scratch and they became wealthy people. Now, when our children understand these principles, our children are passed through the stories, and all of that, what happens? Our children begin to understand that they've got power within. But no, you just set goals, they put it there, they move on. No principles to back what the exercise, no principles to empower them, nothing for them to hold on to. This is why your child doesn't take his goal setting seriously. Number 3, expectations. When you do not have expectations, when you don't have expectations of them, they just set goals, they put it there, everybody goes away. All right. There are no expectations. What are you doing? What are you doing daily? All right. What are you doing daily? Or what are the things you would have to do in order for you to achieve these goals? Now, when there are expectations, these are the things that I have to do. And then we discuss them. So that's why when we create goals in the mastermind circle, we get the children to have conversations about this. We have conversations with them about this. We send them to have conversations with their parents about this. Now, when they have had these conversations with their parents, what happens? It means that expectations are created. Now, the parents need to help them know what their expectations are. We help them know what our expectations are, basically. And because these expectations are there, what do? We create a system to help the children, or to prompt the children of what it is that we expect of them based on what they have planned to do. So when you do this, you teach your children integrity, and then you teach them that their words count, and that if they can dream it, they have planned it, then it is their responsibility to make it happen. This is part of how you get children in that space where they can start achieving their goals. The next one is accountability. You have created goals. Your children have created goals. They've even created vision board. They stuck it somewhere. Okay, so whenever people are talking, oh, go, you're like, yeah, my children know. They create goals. We create goals in our homes and all of that. You create goals in your home and all of that. Then what? There's no accountability. The vision that they put there does not hold them accountable. You don't hold them accountable. They don't hold themselves accountable, and all of that. And so they are just going free flowing. How? The vision board becomes another painting on the wall. Yes, it can be. Even, I mean, the real sense of it is it's supposed to be a visual representation of your goal that consistently reminds you of what it is that you have promised to do. But then again, when there is no connection between you and your vision board, when there's no connection between you and your vision board by way of accountability, when there is no exercise that takes you back to your vision board. All right. I remember how I set goals for the longest time, all the time I started creating vision board, but it never made sense to me, or that much sense to me, until I started attending visualization session, right? I started attending visualization session with Kuva, Coach Celine or Onogu, right? So that's yes. So until I started attending Coach Celine's visualization session, right, my vision board did not make as much sense. All right. So that's what we're replicating. We're doing that with the children, so that the children connect with their vision board, and it's not just a piece of item or another painting on the wall. So they're able to connect with their vision board. And so it begins to make more sense to them because they are connected. And yes, there is an accountability system that we now put in place in the mastermind circle that helps the child revisit their goal every day. So yes, when we create the goal, we help them break their goals into daily achievable portions of those goals. The goals are supposed to be like building blocks that, they mount one on the other. And after a while, based on the timeline that they have set, we're able to go back and look at it and see, oh, yes, this is it. You will see it just come alive just because of the little effort every day. Now, when you are not doing all of this, what happens? Your children just see this as a mere exercise, and then they put the goal right there and they move on with their lives, because even you do not know what a vision board is supposed to represent, or what goal setting in the real sense and the principles behind it, is. And then lastly, the last thing I'm going to be sharing today before we go off, and then tomorrow we will round off what exactly you should do now that you know this. All right. That last one is there is no picture. Your children do not have a picture in their head of where or what they are, the achievement, what they are going to with those goals. They are unable to. They just sit down there. I want to be this, I want to be this. They just talk. They're not able to stay in that space where you can help them create a picture of this thing in their head. So they have a vision, but there is no picture of that vision, right? There is no picture of that vision. They are not in that place. You are not even in that place where you can create, pictures of the vision that you have. Now, creating a picture of the vision is you being able to close your eyes, or you being able to take yourself in that mental place where you can see the end. You can see the end. It's just, we were created to be like our Father in heaven. All right. We should be able to picture the end of our journey. All right. It is the picture of the end of your journey that becomes your motivation to be intentional, because you have a picture of where it is that you are going to. And then what do? You begin to walk backwards. You have a picture, and then you begin to walk backward, constructing all that you need to get to that picture. That's how it's supposed to be. All right. Now, when you get children into that point, gradually, with everyday achievements and your conversations, like we do in the mastermind circle, our everyday conversations, everything that we do basically is to help children begin to piece, piece their goals together to create a vision in their head. All right. So basically, you're doing this one day at a time. Now, the energy with which you follow through, the accountability that you give them, the expectations that you have, the conversations that you have, the affirmations that they make, the affirming that you give them as their parent and their coach and their mentor, as we do, all of these things, the confidence that you help them build in themselves and in their ability, the self-esteem that your child carries himself, the awareness that your child have of what they are capable of, is how your child is able to create a picture in their head of their dreams that they have dared to dream. Now, if your child is not even dreaming because you have not put them in that place, put them in a community where they can be with like minds, people who are passionate, people who are dreaming, and people who are putting their best foot out to begin to propel themselves right towards that dream. When you don't put them in that place, they are in a place where all they are still talking about is Pokemon, video game, playing this, that one. They're in a place where they don't even allow their mind move from the superficial and from the basic in the name of let children be children. What you're doing is you're doing your children a disservice. That is why they become teenagers and they're still talking at a 6-year-old level. That's why you have a 20-year-old who is operating as if they are 13. That's why you have a 25-year-old who doesn't even understand what path that they are on at the point where their mates are already taking over the world. So we can't get our children to the space if you don't start today to put them in the right place, to have the right conversations, and to help them dream. Okay, so this is a session, if you're just joining, that you need to go back and watch from the beginning. It's such a powerful session. All right, and then go ahead. If you like your child, we don't just brag about what we do in the mastermind. It's that deep and it's that technical, yet it is presented to the children in the most, exciting and the most simple way that they can wrap their head around it, even without knowing how powerful what they are taking in is. All right, so thank you for joining me in today's session. We will be back here to conclude the session tomorrow, when we will be telling you exactly what you can now do to help your preteen get to this place where all that we have discussed today can begin to make sense, and how they will begin to take their goals seriously, because now they understand why they have set goals and they understand the essence of all of this. All right, if you would like your child to join us in the Mastermind Circle, our peer mentorship and accountability group, where we support children and we do all of this, in collaboration with you or in partnership with you. We have the information scrolling right now on your screen. Go ahead and use it. As I said, most of this month we're setting goals, we're prepping the children, we're working on their psyche, we're working on their, spirits. We're working on every part of their, we're working on every part of the child to make the child understand their why, to make the child become passionate about their why, to help the child create that vision of where they are going to help the child set goals to reach those vision, and basically to help the child create the plan. And then we will hold them accountable. They will understand our expectations. They know their own expectations. They have their vision before them, now the child understands. It is not a one-day process, parents. It's not a two-day process. It's a real robust process. And that's why in the mastermind, we take our time to get the children into this first phase. Remember, the mastermind is a foundation ground. We equip your child in a way that the knowledge that your child gets in the mastermind will be adequate for your child to apply when they are 18, when they are 20, and even when they are 30, because the mastermind is a solid foundation ground. Bring your child to the mastermind. When you are done in the mastermind, you can take them anywhere else. And I promise you, the foundation that we have helped them build in the mastermind will help them navigate through any other system where they go to. So don't jump the mastermind. Get your foundation and then go sail after that. Thank you very much. You have the information on your screen right now, and you will also have the information in the comment section on Facebook or in the description on YouTube for you to jump in and register your child. We'll still have some slots right before we stop registration completely, so you want to take the opportunity to do that. All right, so you can also reach us on the number on your screen for more information, or if there are other challenges that you have. Don't limit yourself. Come, let's talk, whatever it may be. All right. So, yes, have you read my books? We have exciting books. I told you, at PTM Resources, we create solutions for parents, and we do this through our courses, our resources that we create, our publications, and all of that. Amazing books we have for your preteens. Yes. So, if your child needs to know, right, that they can succeed in school and they can succeed everywhere else in life, we've created these amazing resources, Unlocking Excellence, a child's guide to success beyond the classroom. You want to get this for your child, I promise you. All right, we have this amazing book for financial literacy, helping your child develop an abundance mindset. You want this book for your child. Amazing resource. The child needs to start reading this so that they understand what wealth and money is, and not just what pop culture says that it is, and they can understand it from a deep place, so that they're not swayed by any shiny thing they see all around them. We have this beautiful book, our new book in the Skill Up series, Destined for Greatness. We want to empower your child from the inside, let them know what they are capable of. We also have our Playtime Stories for Champions. This is for your little ones and your younger ones, 0 to 10. They can use it to create lots and lots of activities for themselves to do at home, right? And just create a stimulating environment in your home. Wow. Bedtime Stories for Champions, our very first book, solid bestseller, like every one of our other books, right? So yes, this one will help your child know that they can start today to impact the world. Great impact stories right here, over 20 stories for your children. Christmas Stories for Champions, Legacy. We just wanted the children to know what growing up was for us back in Africa, back in Nigeria, what it's like to grow in the north, what Christmas was like in the north, in the south, in the east, in the west. That's where it is. It's not a Christian book, it's a book for everyone. And then, of course, we have for meditation and your child, learning to reflect, we have our Skill Up Champions. All right, we have our parenting books, 2 parenting books to support you as a parent. Okay, we have our Mentor Parents. This is for you young parents, you who wants to be a parent, and you who's a parent of little children. You need this book, amazing book. And then we have this great planner where, as I said, you can start documenting and putting down your process, writing lovely notes to your children right in this book. You have many templates here, over 12 templates that you can use to create structure in your parenting. right, as guide for you. And then we have where you can put in your special events in the life of your children. Basically, just an amazing collection we have here. And you can get all of these on Amazon. You can get them also all hard copies, okay, by reaching out to us or going to our seller store where you can order this from us. Have a fantastic day, dear parents. And thank you for joining me. Thank you. Great value. Thank you, Catherine. All right. Thank you for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow when we conclude today's episode and throughout the week from Monday to Friday, where we come back on our How Can I Support My Child series. Bye. And thank you very much again. Bye.